Most people don't stay broke because they earn little. They stay broke because they think like everyone else. Let me ask you something. Do you feel guilty spending money, but still waste it on things you don't value? Do you work harder every year, but your bank account doesn't reflect it? That's not bad luck. That's a pattern. And here's the part most people never realize. The difference between broke and wealthy isn't income, it's how decisions are made every single day. In this video, you'll see the exact thinking patterns millionaires use, the ones that quietly shape their money, habits, and results. And the first one? It's so simple most people ignore it. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. Nearly 70% of lottery winners go broke within 5 years, not because they had bad luck, but because they had zero awareness of how money moved through their hands. More cash didn't save them. Control would have. That's the first real finance tip nobody talks about. Before you think about growth, you have to master what you already have. Financial psychology is crystal clear on this. Awareness is the foundation everything else is built on. Here's a simple habit that changes everything. For the next 7 days, track every single dollar you spend. Not to judge yourself, just to see. Most people who do this discover they're losing $200 to $400 a month on stuff they don't even remember buying. Ramit Sethi, author of I Will Teach You to Be Rich, calls this the single most powerful move in personal finance, and it costs absolutely nothing to start. Think about Bobby Axelrod from Billions. The guy didn't just throw money around and hope for the best. He knew every position, every risk, every dollar. That's the money mindset that separates millionaires from everyone else. They think in control before they think in growth. Money habits aren't built on earning more, they're built on seeing clearly first. Once that clarity kicks in, something shifts. The anxiety around money starts to fade, and decisions become intentional instead of reactive. That's when personal finance stops feeling overwhelming and starts feeling like something actually manageable. But here's the thing, controlling your money is only half the equation. There's a famous study called the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment. Kids who could wait before eating a marshmallow ended up with better finances, healthier relationships, and more successful careers decades later. Delayed gratification isn't just a nice idea, it's one of the most battle-tested money habits in financial psychology. The ability to pause before spending is literally a superpower most people never bother to develop, and it's costing them thousands every year. Here's the move. Before any non-essential purchase, stop and ask yourself, does this actually move my life forward? If the answer isn't a clear yes, wait 24 hours before buying it. That one filter alone has helped people cut impulsive spending by up to 30%. It sounds almost too simple, but that pause is where financial education really happens, in the gap between the urge and the action. Think about Walter White in Breaking Bad, not the crimes, but the discipline. The guy was laser-focused, calculated, never impulsive. That same energy applied to money decisions is exactly what separates someone building wealth from someone just getting by. How to make money isn't always about earning more, sometimes it's about not losing it to a split-second emotional decision at checkout. This isn't about deprivation or living like a monk. It's about training the brain to respond instead of react, and that skill compounds over time just like interest does. Someone who masters this habit in their 30s can easily redirect $5,000 to $10,000 a year toward actual assets. And speaking of assets, what someone does with that saved money is where things get really interesting. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is, I'll start investing when I make more money. But here's the brutal truth, waiting for the perfect moment is exactly why most people never build real wealth. A study by Fidelity found that investors who started with just $50 a month and stayed consistent outperformed people who waited and invested larger amounts later. The habit of ownership, not the size of the check, is what builds financial security over time. The move is simpler than most people think. Pick a percentage of your income, even 5%, and put it into an asset every single week without exception. That could be an index fund like VOO or VTI, a fractional share of Apple or Amazon, or even a high-yield savings account as a starting point. Apps like Acorns or Fidelity make this ridiculously easy. There's genuinely no excuse to wait. This is how money habits turn into money mindset, one small deposit at a time. Think about Kiyosaki's whole message in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The rich don't work for money, they make money work for them through ownership. Every dollar sitting idle in a regular checking account is a dollar not building anything. Personal finance isn't just about budgeting, it's about shifting from I earn to I own, and that shift starts with the very next paycheck. The beautiful thing about starting small is that consistency rewires how the brain relates to money. After 90 days of weekly investing, even tiny amounts, people report feeling more in control and less anxious about their finances. That's financial psychology working in real time. And once that ownership mindset clicks, the next question becomes, what time frame are you actually building toward? Most people are playing a monthly game, pay the bills, survive the week, repeat. But millionaires are playing a completely different game with a completely different clock. Research from the National Bureau of Economic Research shows that long-term thinkers accumulate 4x more wealth over their lifetime than short-term spenders. The paycheck-to-paycheck mindset isn't just a money problem, it's a time horizon problem. Here's the filter that changes everything. Before any major financial decision, ask, will this matter in 10 years? That question alone rewires how the brain evaluates money habits. Buying a new car on credit? Probably won't feel like a win in a decade. Investing $200 a month into an S&P 500 index fund starting today? At a 10% average return, that's over $40,000 in 10 years, from just $200 a month. Think about Morpheus in The Matrix. He wasn't reacting to what was right in front of him. He was operating from a vision most people couldn't even see yet. That's decade thinking. Financial education isn't just about knowing the right finance tips, it's about zooming out far enough to actually use them. Strategy beats survival every single time. Once someone starts thinking in decades, small sacrifices stop feeling like sacrifices, they start feeling like investments. That mental shift is what separates people who build wealth from people who just talk about it. And that shift? It doesn't happen in a vacuum, it's heavily shaped by something most people completely underestimate. Jim Rohn said it decades ago, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And when it comes to money habits, that's not motivational fluff, that's neuroscience. A Harvard study found that social spending pressure is one of the top 3 reasons people fail to build savings, even when their income is enough. The people around you are shaping your financial psychology whether you notice it or not. If your circle normalizes eating out 4 times a week, financing cars they can't afford, and living for the weekend, guess what starts feeling normal to you too? This isn't about judging anyone, it's about being honest. Start by auditing your 5 closest influences, not just people, but podcasts, social media accounts, even YouTube channels. Swap one consumption-focused account for someone like Graham Stephan or Andre Jick, who talk real personal finance without the fluff. Think about Will and Goodwill Hunting. His environment was keeping him small until he deliberately chose different influences. The moment someone changes what they're exposed to daily, their money mindset starts shifting almost automatically. Financial education isn't always found in books, sometimes it's found in simply changing what you're surrounded by. Small environmental changes compound fast. Unfollowing one influencer who makes you feel like you need to spend to keep up, or joining one community focused on financial growth, can redirect thousands of dollars a year. And once the environment is protected, the next question becomes even more powerful. What are you actually doing with your time and skills to grow your income? Here's a truth that flips most people's financial strategy upside down. Money has never been the goal, it's always been the byproduct. Every self-made millionaire in history got there by solving a problem someone else couldn't or wouldn't. Financial psychology backs this up hard. People who focus on creating value consistently out-earn people who just chase higher salaries. That's not an opinion, that's a pattern repeated across every wealth study ever done. The daily habit is simple but demanding. Ask yourself every single morning, what problem can I solve today? That could mean learning a skill on Coursera or YouTube, coding, copywriting, video editing, financial consulting, anything the market actually pays for. People who picked up copywriting as a side skill in 2020, for example, were charging $2,000 to $5,000 per project within 18 months. Value creation is how to make money without waiting on luck or a promotion. Think about Tony Stark. The guy was literally in prison and still found a way to create something valuable from scraps. That's problem solver energy applied to real life. Personal finance stops being a struggle the moment someone shifts from how do I get more money to how do I become more useful. The market always rewards usefulness, always. The beautiful part? skills compound just like investments do. Someone who spends 30 minutes a day learning something marketable will be in a completely different financial position in 2 years. And here's what ties all of this together, because none of it matters long-term without one final principle that most people overlook entirely. In the parable of the talents, Matthew 25, a master gives 3 servants different amounts of money and comes back to see what they did with it. The ones who managed well got even more. The one who buried his out of fear lost everything. That's not just a Bible story, that's the most accurate description of how wealth actually works in real life. Financial psychology calls it the stewardship mindset, and it's the foundation every millionaire builds on, whether they know it or not. Most people are waiting to receive more before they start managing better. But the truth is brutal. If someone can't handle $1,000 with intention, $100,000 will just create bigger problems. The money habit to build right now is simple. Treat every dollar you currently have like it matters, because it does. Budget it, track it, allocate it on purpose. That's stewardship in action. Think about Rocky Balboa. Before the fame, before the big fights, he was disciplined in the small stuff. Early mornings, basic training, showing up when nobody was watching. That same energy applied to money habits is exactly what stewardship looks like in practice. How to make money at scale always starts with respecting what's already in your hands. The person who masters small daily financial decisions builds something most people never find: real confidence around money. Not the fake kind that comes from a big paycheck, but the deep kind that comes from knowing you can be trusted with whatever comes next. And when that trust is established, internally and externally, growth stops being a question of if, and starts being a question of when. Remember when managing money felt like something other people were just naturally good at, like some secret club you were never invited to? That feeling wasn't weakness, it was a lack of the right framework. Now you know that controlling what you have, delaying pleasure with intention, turning even small income into assets, thinking in decades, protecting your environment, solving problems, and stewarding what's already in your hands, those aren't millionaire privileges. Those are millionaire habits. And habits can be built by anyone, starting today. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because every week we break down real personal finance strategies that most people never get access to. This channel is where financial education actually meets real life. No fluff, no gatekeeping. And if you're serious about leveling up faster, there's something built specifically for people ready to go deeper. If today's video resonated with you, the material in the pinned comment was made exactly for where you are right now. It's called Holistic Health. Nourish your mind, balance your finances, transform your life, and inside you'll find exactly how to eliminate debt systematically, build your first passive income stream, rewire your money mindset using proven psychological frameworks, and maintain mental clarity even under serious financial pressure. This isn't theory, it's a practical system for people who are done waiting for the right moment. So here's the real question: how much longer are you willing to think the same way and expect different results? The people who change their finances aren't the ones who know the most, they're the ones who act first. Click the link in the pinned comment now and start building the financial life you've been putting off. Your future self is already waiting, don't make them wait any longer.